All right, welcome back, everyone. Let's just jump right into today's explainer. If you've been eyeing the home decor dropshipping space lately, you've probably noticed something. A lot of that old device floating around? Yeah, it's just not working anymore. Now, the market is absolutely booming for sure, but the foundational rules, they've fundamentally changed. So today, we're going to tear down those outdated methods. We're walking through an exact, completely hype-free strategy guide to help you actually navigate the 2026 landscape. We're going to look at the hard numbers, the new regulations, and the exact playbook you need to make this highly profitable today.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're covering the new dropshipping reality, the brutal decor economics, the local supplier playbook, niche platform heavyweights, and finally, how to vet suppliers without getting burned. All right, part one, the new dropshipping reality, and exactly why the old rules are dead. Look, the sheer scale of the global home decor market is just massive. We're talking over $716 billion for 2026. But the piece we really care about, that's the online slice, sitting at $134.52 billion. And here's the kicker. That online segment is compounding at 11.5% a year. That's roughly double the pace of the overall category. So the fundamental takeaway here, consumer demand is absolutely not the issue. The money is flowing. The real problem is everything that happens between the supplier shelf and your customer's living room. To really understand this problem, we've got to talk about the massive shift that hit in 2025, the death of the USD minimis exemption. So for years, dropshippers relied heavily on this $800 duty-free threshold. Basically, it let cheap parcels fly straight from China into the US with zero formal customs entry, no taxes, nothing. Well, that loophole, completely dead and gone. Today, every single parcel entering the US requires a formal customs entry, a 10-digit HTS code, and it pays full duties, no matter what the value is. This regulatory shift drastically alters the whole business model. Back in the pre-2025 era, which, by the way, is still being taught in half those outdated courses online, cheap, direct-from-China shipping was highly viable. But in this 2026 reality, you are eating full duties and tariffs on every single order that crosses that border. So honestly, if you take just one thing away from this entire explainer, let it be this. A supplier's local warehouse location is no longer just some nice convenience feature. It is the entire game. You simply have to source locally. Moving on to Section 2. The brutal decor economics and the hard numbers behind high-ticket niches. 1.4%. That is the category average conversion rate. And frankly, it's brutal. It sits near the absolute floor of all e-commerce. Why? Well, because home decor converts worse than almost anything else. People just can't easily picture a $400 console table in their hallway by looking at 3 basic product photos, so they bounce. You really have to plan your conversions pessimistically here. But hey, that low conversion rate is actually offset by our saving grace, the average order value. While your conversion is low, your order value is massive. I mean, a single furniture sale can easily clear $1,000. Just think about that for a second. One furniture sale can be worth like 30 candle sales. That high ticket price completely changes the calculus on how much you can spend on paid traffic to acquire a single customer. This business runs on order value, not volume. Before you go counting all those profits, though, you have to factor in the number one silent margin killer, 8%. That's the breakage rate you can expect on fragile items. Think ceramics, glass, mirrors, when they're shipped with thin, cheap overseas packaging. If 1 in 12 boxes arrives cracked, you're not just losing the product cost. You're eating the replacement cost, and you're dealing with frustrated customers who might just issue a chargeback. And you know what? If breakage doesn't get you, dimensional weight definitely will. This is the quieter killer of high-ticket dropshipping. You might actually find a really great wholesale price on a nightstand, but because it's bulky, the shipping quotes can literally match or even exceed the product price outright. A flat-packed print, that ships for pocket change, but a heavy piece of furniture will absolutely destroy your margins before the order even lands. This right here makes routing through local warehouses entirely non-negotiable. Which brings us to Section 3, the local supplier playbook, tools and rosters for the modern dropshipper. Look, once you have more than a handful of SKUs, the manual upkeep of a decor store becomes a full-time job. Decor catalogs go out of stock constantly, and prices shift daily.
That is exactly why wiring in an automation tool like eSync early on is vital. It handles the whole daily grind. We're talking automated product importing, real-time stock and price monitoring so your listings never go stale, auto-ordering without you even touching it, and margin defense through repricing rules. Now, this tech doesn't grow your revenue on its own, but it buys back the hours you desperately need to focus on what actually moves the needle, things like incredible photography and ad creative.
All right, looking at the supplier matrix, smart operators in 2026 know a fundamental truth. You don't marry just one platform. Most successful sellers actually end up combining two, a local supplier for rapid speed and a broader one for deep catalog variety. So Spocket gives you that local stock and branding, AppScenic brings AI-driven speed, Zendrop protects you on fragile goods, and BigBuy handles serious European scale. Let's actually break a few of these down. Section 4, Niche Platform Heavyweights, a deep dive into the top contenders. First up are the North American staples, Spocket and Zendrop. Spocket is really where you want to start for US and UK stores. They focus heavily on local suppliers, getting goods to your customer in just 2 to 5 days. Plus, their Pro plan, which runs about $59.99 a month, unlocks branded invoicing, meaning your logo goes on the packing slip, not some random warehouse's name. Then there's Zendrop. This is an absolute must-use if you're selling ceramics or glass. Why? Because they offer free replacements or refunds for damaged goods, and they'll even replace a parcel if it runs more than 5 days past its estimated window. I mean, for a category with an 8% breakage problem, that policy is a total lifesaver. Next, let's look at the heavy-duty infrastructure plays. If you're targeting the European or UK market, BigBuy and VitaXL are your heavyweights. BigBuy has a massive 30,000 square meter warehouse in Spain, offering 24 to 72-hour transit across Europe. Though, quick insider tip, definitely watch their dispatch times during busy seasons. Now, VitaXL is unmatched for heavy furniture in the EU, and they have 0 subscription fees. On the other side of the pond, DropCommerce is a fantastic play for highly defensible, eco-friendly North American stores. They dodge the China tariff problem entirely because they only source from US and Canadian suppliers. Oh, and they contractually guarantee you a 30% margin floor. Pretty wild. But you know, the ultimate tariff dodging strategy for 2026 actually lies in print-on-demand services like Gelato. See, Gelato isn't a traditional stock supplier. It's print-on-demand for wall art, canvas, and textiles. Because they print locally through partners in over 30 countries, a US order is produced in the US, and a UK order is produced in the UK. Nothing crosses a border. You completely sidestep the customs paperwork and all those duties. It is a brilliant way to build a high-margin decor line where you actually own the designs. All right, final section, Section 5, Vetting Without Getting Burned, the mandatory 2026 protection protocol. Here is your mandatory 4-step protection protocol because home decor punishes lazy vetting harder than any other niche. Step 1. Never trust a platform's headline shipping claim. Always check the specific warehouse for the exact SKU you plan to sell. Step 2. Order the exact variants of your hero products to a residential address. You want to replicate your customer's real experience. Step 3. Photograph the unboxing process to quality check the packaging. And hey, you're going to need those photos for your store anyway, right? Finally, Step 4. Time the actual dispatch and delivery against what the supplier promised. Then, use that real number in your financial modeling. Once you actually have your samples, here are the hard-hitting insider questions you absolutely must ask your supplier before importing their catalog. Please don't ask generic questions. Ask them, do you offer free replacements for broken items? Who pays return shipping on damage? And do you even require a return? How are shipping fees calculated on heavy items? And crucially for 2026, who is the importer of record for US duties and HTS codes? The bottom line is this: if a supplier dodges your questions about breakage or customs, walk away immediately. The good ones? They'll answer both clearly in a single email. Which brings us to our final, provocative question: is home decor dropshipping actually profitable in 2026? The answer is a resounding yes. But the profit comes from order value, not volume. It's highly profitable only if you are willing to abandon the old, outdated rules, factor duties into your pricing, and play the local warehouse game like a professional. You have the playbook now, so what are you going to do with it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.